Last lesson covered what a PPP is. This one covers something more useful, when to actually use one. Because a PPP is a tool, not a policy goal, and like any tool, it's the wrong choice for plenty of jobs. Governments turn to PPPs for three real reasons. First, genuine risk transfer, moving risk to whichever party can actually manage it better, whether that's construction risk or demand risk. Second, whole-of-life cost incentives. When the same partner builds an asset and maintains it for 25 years, they have every reason to build it well the first time. Third, private sector innovation. Competitive tendering can surface more efficient designs or operating methods than a purely public process would. Here's the myth to drop immediately. A PPP does not make a project's cost disappear. Private financing still has to be repaid, usually with a higher cost of capital than the government could borrow at directly. The public still pays, through user fees or government payments over the contract's life. The only question a PPP actually answers is whether the risk transfer and efficiency gains are worth that financing premium. That trade-off has a name: value for money. In plain terms, it means comparing two totals: what the project would cost as a PPP, including the risk the government still carries, against what it would cost through traditional procurement, including all the risk the government would carry there instead. If the PPP total is lower once risk is properly priced in, it's worth doing. If it isn't, it's not, no matter how appealing private financing sounds upfront. We'll build this out properly in Chapter 4. Just as important is knowing when to walk away. If there's no genuine risk to transfer, the government would end up guaranteeing everything anyway. A PPP just adds cost for no benefit. If the contracting authority doesn't have the institutional capacity to manage a complex, multi-decade contract, a PPP can turn into years of disputes instead of a working asset. And if the project's outputs can't be clearly defined and measured, there's nothing for a performance-based payment mechanism to actually attach to. So the question to ask is never simply, can we afford a PPP? It's, does this specific project genuinely benefit from private risk-bearing and innovation? And that's answered project by project, not by policy default. Quick recap. PPPs earn their place through real risk transfer, whole-of-life incentives, and genuine innovation, not through making costs vanish. And they're the wrong tool when risk transfer is fake, institutional capacity is thin, or outputs can't be measured. Chapter 2 is next: how governments actually build the framework that makes any of this possible in the first place. That's Chapter 1. Subscribe to follow the rest of the course.